And good morning and welcome to WyoToday Sports Live here on 101.7 KDNO. Well, it's kind of with heavy hearts we come to you today. Cody will talk a little bit about the incident that occurred, but one of our very own, Andrew Martin, he helped call Lander Valley football force with Ernie, and was going to join us for football and basketball after his senior year as a Shoshone Wrangler point guard. Went down with a horrific leg injury last night in Ethity against Wyoming Indians. So first and foremost, before we get into anything about it, we want to wish Andrew and his mom and everybody a quick recovery. It looks like it's probably going to be a long one, but we wish him the best, and anything we can do for you, Andrew, just let us know. Cody, go into a little bit about what you saw. Just FYI for the Wyoming Indian fans, Shoshone fans, I am, just because of the injury, going to be pulling that game down off YouTube. Just so we don't want to advertise the injury. That was after several coaches at Riverton both actually kind of suggested that y'all might want to take that down so people don't go hunting down the injury. But it's up there right now, so you can see the girls' game and stuff like that. I'm going to try and just edit it out and just in the game where the last action actually occurred.
What I would tell you to do is to look at the video, because the video really doesn't show what happened, because we went to commercial right away. People are going to go on and they're going to watch it, but if you take it down, you're going to miss a great first half by Wyoming Indian, which there was 30 seconds left, and Shoshone ended up with the basketball. And Garcia took the ball, drove down court, and made a nice move. He was being guarded by a freshman of Wyoming Indian, Ryder Northcott, and he went up for the layup, and it was kind of an off. He had to reach to get his hand in position to make the layup, and there was a foul on the play. It was just a good basketball play overall from Garcia and Northcott. But Northcott, while he got called for the foul, Garcia went down and landed awkwardly on his left leg, and sparing everybody the graphic details, it was very apparent what happened, and then we went immediately to commercial.
All right, because we're just now getting up. We've had several viewers on YouTube. We're just now getting on 101.7 KDNO. So again, Cody, I'm sorry to interrupt you real quick. We'll just kind of give what we've been talking about. Andrew Martin last night at the Shoshone Andrew Garcia, excuse me, going down heavily to a leg injury. And then had to wait a little bit for the ambulance to arrive and everything like that. We don't have any kind of update. He is one of our own, broadcast Lander Valley football with us, joining us in a more full-time basis starting after his senior year. And you just feel for him, and Cody was kind of going into what all occurred.
Well, Wyoming Indian had a great first half, and if you go in and try to watch that video, we did live stream the game like we do with all games at Wyoming Indian. It's very difficult to see what happened, but Andrew Garcia got the ball with about 30 seconds to play, being guarded by a Wyoming Indian freshman who'd subbed in for the final couple minutes of the first half, Ryder Northcott. He was a good, young, promising player. Andrew drove down the lane, went in the air, was fouled, landed awkwardly on his left leg. It became very apparent within a half second to my eyes what happened. I turned my head, and we immediately went to commercial. Fans, coaches, Wyoming Indian officials rushed to Garcia. There was actually two loud sounds. One was Bones. The second sound was Andrew's head hitting the floor. Frankly, 10, 15 minutes into the delay, I think my concern, other concerns were about if he was okay with his head, because I could hear that on the through my headphones when I was making the call. But the delay went on for about 40 minutes before an ambulance lights came by the back door, which was open. Incidentally, there was about 2,000 fans inside the gym, and people were very respectable as players were bent over with their hands on their knees. Coaches were crying. It was a very emotional moment in a season that has been a good one for Shoshone. And, their senior point guard goes down, and both his parents were out there. His dad ran by me, got to his son. His mom was there. But the Wyoming Indian fans were very respectful. It was quiet. Everybody just kind of stayed put. And then when Andrew had been placed on the gurney, the other thing that happened was Wyoming Indian brought out some blankets and held those up around Andrew and the caregivers, and then the ambulance folks, as they got him on a gurney and transported or rolled him across the floor and out the back door to the ambulance. During this, young Shoshone player was called out on the floor, and he hit 2 free throws that would have went to Andrew. And so that made the score at the end of the half 51-28. But when everything got done and Andrew was being transported to the hospital, the Shoshone and Wyoming Indian officials got together, and Shoshone said, we're just not going to continue the game tonight, so we're going to take the forfeit, and we're going to go home. They've got, Shoshone's got to lick their wounds and get ready for a long road trip. They're going to Kemmer tonight, and then tomorrow they'll be back home against Big Piney. Wyoming Indian will travel to Rocky Mountain in Cali tomorrow, but I think everybody was affected by what happened last night. Incredibly emotional moment. Everybody's pulling for Andrew Garcia. Good kid. Good basketball player. He hit a three-pointer. Good free throw shooter. He hit his free throws. He finished with 7 points last night. There's no doubt that his senior season is ended on that play, but I think everybody is pulling for the young man, and I hope that he's in the good hands of good doctors, and that obviously there'll be a procedure and then a recovery time, but our thoughts and prayers go out to Andrew, his family, and all the fans that may have been affected emotionally by last night's tragic occurrence. So it was a bad night, but we did see some good basketball in the first half.
Well, and some of the comments that are just rolling in, I just got an actual comment from Coach Sheets. Maybe he's listening. He said he couldn't help it. He went back last night after the game and watched because he thought he knew the name. He just says, my heart breaks for him. He was on some of our Little League baseball kids with Ty and with Clay, and such a good kid. So we're sure those will flow in. Of course, like you said, they play 2 more times this week, I do believe. They play tonight and tomorrow night.
Yeah, I just said that.
And then next week they've got Thermopolis coming to Shoshone on the 13th. So
they'll be in Kemmer tonight, and tomorrow they'll host Big Piney.
It was is an injury plagued kind of day in basketball to only have two schools playing. Of course, Andrew Garcia, that we broadcast regular. Of course, Andrew Garcia going down. Our hearts go out to him. River White Plume for Riverton went down really, really awkwardly last night on both legs. Actually, it was kind of weird. He was getting the ball stolen away, and he kind of was going in one direction, then fell back the other. And the trainers did confirm that it's his knee. No real updates as of yet. I highly doubt we'll see him Saturday no matter what. But as far as going forward, the trainers want to do more looks and do more tests and things of that nature. And then Eric Smith tweaks his ankle last night in a play that was late. And I don't want to say it was meaningless because no play is meaningless, but the game was pretty much already out of range, but in the final minute and a half, he tweaked his ankle. So I guess if there's a silver lining there, it's that Riverton goes very deep. We saw a lot of Dane Cox last night, only the second time we've really seen him significantly, and we saw Braden Martin quite a bit, and that's just due to their play on the JV squad according to Coach Sheets. Of course, Wyoming Indian wins both games last night, won by forfeit, but result well in hand most likely, and the girls win big as well.
Lady Chiefs do have some injuries of note, Kevin.
Yeah.
Freshman Connie Curry went down last night. She banged her knee off the hardwood. She was in quite a bit of pain, but I saw her after the game, and she was iced up and thought she'd be okay. Paisley Blackburn, the dynamic sophomore point guard, was hurt on Wednesday in practice. Both her ankle and her knee. They believe both are sprained. I did talk to her. She came over and talked to me after the girls' game, and she won't play this weekend. Connie Curry probably won't play up in Rocky Mountain either, and they kind of need her height and her skills. But both of those players hopefully will be back on the court in a week.
And we are now actually hearing chatter from Shoshone folks and others about possible surgeries and stuff. We're not going to get into that because we can't confirm it as of right now. But we wish Andrew the best. And it's really not out there for public consumption. Anyway, of course, last night, Riverton girls snap an 8-game losing streak, winning 44-36 over Natrona County. And on paper, like my keys to the game were kind of the same, kind of play your game defensively, try and limit turnovers. Well, they had like 28 turnovers, so they didn't do that. But the defense, and it didn't cause turnovers, but it made Natrona County look so uncomfortable the whole game, hitting key free throws, and we saw kind of where the scoring needs to be. We saw the post contribute. We saw the two leading scorers on the season, Talon Leesburg and Carson Vosica, both get above their average, and that's how the Riverton Lady Wolverines have to win. They have to play their defense. They have to stay focused, and that focus has drifted quite a bit at times this year. So they have a chance to do something they haven't done overly consistently over the past several years, which is get on a win streak, because they've got Kelly Walsh on Saturday. Natrona County did defeat Kelly Walsh. So it's on paper, it's kind of an even matchup. So we'll see if they can string together two of those games, because when Riverton plays their 1-3-1 trap three-quarter court press, it's something fun to watch. Boys, of course, fall third game in a row now on a losing streak. Unfortunately, they fall 58-46. And as Coach Sheets said after the game, the thing that has plagued them for all three of these games, if you don't hit your free throws and you turn the ball over well more than your average and you give up double digits offensive rebounds, it's a slim chance to win. So, and they get a chance to try and rectify that. But Natrona County was all over the glass, and Riverton was a good about 7 to 10 higher than their normal turnovers. And from the free throw line, as Baylor and I were talking beforehand, Baylor, I'll let you kind of expound on this as a former athlete and whatnot. Your two best scorers are Eric Smith and Garrett Jackson. And between the two, they shoot at 50%, one at 52, one at 48 from the free throw line. It's kind of funny because your post guys who you expect not to be great from the free throw line, because we're used to seeing, hack-a-shack and stuff like that. River White Plume hits at 85%, and Gage Strieber, Mr. Reckless Abandon himself, shoots at 77%.
Yeah, I mean, a game, 58-46, I mean, those free throws matter because that's a 12-point game. And I think you said they were 9 of 17.
Yes, so close to that.
That's 8 points right there that they just left out there. So that's definitely something in basketball. You're not going to win very many games if you don't shoot well from the charity stripe, especially when you're going there a ton in a game, which 17 free throws isn't a ton, but you just got to take advantage of those opportunities. But yeah, the injury to River, I mean, that's a big loss at the free throw line. He shoot 84%.
And he's come on so well. He leads the team in blocks. And, it's one of those things where you don't see an absolute ton of blocks unless you get somebody in high school who's just so much taller than everybody else. But what is discounted, what isn't in the stat sheet is how many shots he affects because his hand's there where it goes, the guy tries to avoid him, stuff of that nature. I would be remiss if we didn't mention Mr. Trenton Weber, Wolverine kind of wing player. He can kind of play anywhere, great defensively. He's not an overt offensive threat, but he does lead the state at all levels, actually, in charges per game. He's now probably up at right below 1, so right at 1 per game, and he's got his own little catchphrase with me because this isn't one of those he knows how to draw them and the flop. No, Trenton gets trucked every game at least once, and last night was no difference. He just got blown absolutely up, but he's a tough kid. And then after the game, Bo was telling me, well, we didn't know how much he'd be able to play because he'd been sick. And he kind of looked a little bit thin. Maybe he'd had some stomach issues or a flu or something. And yet there he is, stepping in front of the biggest guy to just get plowed over, just not even caring. So congrats to Trenton Weber on that. I know his mom's proud because she posted the stat on Facebook. So
that is an interesting stat.
Yeah, it's an interesting fact that they keep it. I mean, It's even got its own little CPG and stuff. It's all WyoBrep. So it's been an interesting past 12, 13 hours now for Fremont County sports, and we're going to jump to a little bit of NFL action, of course, because of legalese and copper. Oh, Cody's got something.
Well, I think we ought to try to keep a local here for a few more minutes. We received word yesterday, it was posted on WyoToday, that Cody Bomagen has officially committed to play basketball next year at Gillette College. And we congratulate the leader of the Thermopolis Bobcats. Started for 3 years. Bomagen has really had an incredible high school career. Last year, all conference player of the year, all state. He's getting close to getting to 1,000 points. And he, helped the Bobcats make their state championship run last year. As a junior, he averaged 16 points and 7 rebounds. This year, he's averaging 18 points and 10 rebounds. And so congratulations to Cody Bomagen, who's going on to play college basketball, in the fall at Gillette College.
And that is awesome. And Cody and Baylor, I'll let y'all speak on this next one, too, on Wednesday. Paxton Yates, who, as he said when I interviewed him, he didn't really know if he was going to play his senior season at first, has committed to play at Adams State and become a Grizzly next year. He's going there as a long snapper, and then we'll see what happens in practice and in camps and stuff like that as far as what else he might do there. But congratulations to him signing with the Grizzlies.
Yeah, he's a great athlete. Just a perfect compliment on that defensive line for Riverton. And obviously he was a great long snapper. I mean, if he's going for college for a long snapper, I always dreamed about walking on at UW to be a long snapper, but just because it's the easiest way to be a part of the football team. Well, not the easiest way. It's the safest way to be a part of the football team.
Maybe a little pressure packed.
Yeah.
But no, congrats to Paxton Yates. That's awesome.
It is funny because we talk about it's the safest position, but you talk it's one of those 3 positions: field goal kicker, holder, and long snapper. Where in the pros, one mistake and you might be out of a job.
Yep.
But a good kid. When I got to interview him, gives a lot of credit to his family and his faith, and the funniest part is you mentioned, like we know he's a defensive lineman. the personality, when you think of defense linemen, you think of like Howie Long, Lyle Alzado, like guys like that. He is the nicest kid, very eloquent, very well spoken, and of course, on that same day, a guy that we both call Clay Sheets signed his letter of intent. No surprise here where he's going, family legacy at Shadron State, but he will go join, and it was kind of fun to watch two brothers that are so close in age. A lot of times siblings will fight, and, you know, they'll be friendly, but he made a point to us that he's always looked up to Ty, and that's kind of one of the driving forces of his decision. He wants to play with Ty again.
Yeah, that's really cool to be able to play with your brother in college. I assume he's going for football.
Yes.
Yeah, so
I think he may try and run track as well. He's really good. I think it's 110-meter hurdles he runs. So he's got a little bit more work to do, whereas Paxton said he's just ready to graduate now.
Yeah.
Well, Yates, just a little bit more on Paxton. He is the football player that brought teams together at the end of every football game last fall for prayer. And, you know, he's just an outstanding leader of young men. And we had a chance to interview him last fall when he was hot and sweaty. He was, you know, playing two ways for the Wolverines, tight end and defensive end. And he was maybe one of the biggest surprises that Coach Mark Lenhart's ever coached. He just kept getting better by the week. And Lenhart talked about it 4 or 5 times during the season that, you know, Yates really wasn't there at the beginning of the year, but by the end, he was one of the best players on the team. And so congratulations to him. Congratulations to Clay Sheets and Cody Bombage. I'm sure we'll have more signings. It's great to see our young people in Fremont County moving on to do better and bigger things, and also to get their education.
Well, and we do have one next week. Gavin, the last name just escaped me, from Lander. Romers. Thank you. Gavin Romer. His sign, I do believe, is Tuesday, so we'll be up there for that.
Very good lineman.
Yeah, we've had a lot of signings here as of late, both between Lander and I know Blue Blackburn for Soccers is coming up, just when she decides she wants to do it, and I guess probably has her final 100%. But a lot of people sign, and what a great story for all the kids out there, younger and older kids for that matter. Like you said, Paxton Yates, beginning of the season, really not there, probably not looking at the next level, definitely if he wasn't there. And it took a year. It took a year. Colleges do notice, and they pay attention at all levels. So, you know, even if you think, well, you know, I kind of was lazy my freshman, sophomore, and part of my junior year or whatnot, there's still a chance. Turn around, give that effort, work to get better every day, as coaches like to say. Now we'll move on because Baylor made a request. He wanted to talk about the snub of Bill Belichick. We'll also talk a little bit about the big game, because we're not allowed to say a word that is a pseudonym maybe for fantastic and not a plate but a. Oh, wow. So we're not. Yeah, they're very stringent with their copyrights. But we're allowed to say the big game this weekend. With that, we'll get predictions at the end. But Baylor wanted to talk about here in the last about 4 minutes. Bill Belichick not making the Hall of Fame on the first ballot.
Yeah, I was just going to bring it up last week to you guys. We ran out of time, but I just thought it was interesting. 8-time Super Bowl champion, winning, you know, head coach, the winningest playoff head coach, probably close to the winningest head coach, gets snubbed off a first ballot.
There's been some breakdowns where they've talked about, you know, because only so many can make it. I don't know. I used to love Roger Craig. I think he was a great player. Are we getting a little too easy to get into certain Hall of Fames now? Because it used to be just the elite of the elite. Roger Craig was great, but I don't think anybody has him on their top 10, 15, or even 20 top running backs of all time. Mm-hmm. So, but
I'm not sure where you're going with that. We're talking about Belichick.
No, they broke it down where one of the voters said, well, it was either Roger Craig, because they can only put so many in. And you can only vote for so many, and it's like Roger Craig and 2 others, like last time on the normal ballot or something like that. There's a lot of breakdowns from guys coming out and going, here's why I didn't vote for Bill Belichick. of course, Robert Kraft was also the owner of the Patriots. I don't believe he got in
He did
either.
not.
So, and then there was fierce debate over where owners should get in. Is Bill Belichick, the question then comes up, is Bill Belichick, because it was kind of like people said Eric Bieniemy was a result, not a great OC, but was a result of the coach in KC. Is it, well, what's Bill Belichick without Tom Brady?
Bill Belichick will be in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the greatest football coaches to ever coach in the NFL. All you have to do is look at the results. Coaches prepare the players to go on and do great things. And Bill Belichick took a chance on Tom Brady, and it paid off. And you know what? He'll be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, Tom Brady was a backup, and Drew Bledsoe got hurt. Is the reason he took the chance.
Well, he stayed with him. He stayed with him.
Realistic.
And it paid off, Kevin.
Yeah.
It paid off big time.
It paid off big time.
I'm not a fan of the Patriots, but he'll be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, he'll get in. There's no doubt. His record without Tom Brady is atrocious. But then again, what's Bill Walsh if he doesn't have Joe Montana and Steve Young?
Right.
What? You got to have great.
How about Mike Shanahan without John Elway?
You've got to have.
I mean, come on.
As Nick Saban once said, is Jimmys and Joes, not X's and O's. You got to have the players. There's not a successful coach out there who, especially in football, really any sport, that's done it with just, they had mediocre talent. You might make a run for a year, but that's about it. There's only so many times that Steve Berline can line up for like the Carolina Panthers back in the 90s and go to a Super Bowl. It's not going to happen very often. So, he'll get in. Robert Kraft will get in as well as an owner, which brought up all sorts of debates online about whether owners should be in the Hall of Fame. But congratulations to the class, that made the Hall of Fame. So, and, we start looking forward to, I think, Cody's favorite season, at least for many reasons, is right around the corner because there's some spring training games this month. I only know because it comes up in my feed on ESPN under scores. The Braves play on the 26th. So,
yeah, players are reporting next week, and one of the biggest off-season moves that people around here can identify with is Nolan Arenado is now a Arizona Diamondback, and that's a big move by the Diamondbacks. St. Louis is kind of blowing up their roster right now, but Arenado, of course, made his claim to fame with the Rockies and the last great star the Rockies have had. And now he'll be coming into Denver as a member of the Diamondbacks.
And we would. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just was going to say, and no, you did not miss anything. The Rockies have done nothing this offseason. Once again, same old. But they signed a new GM, but
we would be remiss if we didn't mention that tomorrow the ladies from UW are in the border war against Colorado State. They'll be at Colorado State tomorrow, and the Hoops team's looking for a full sweep of the sheep, as they say. A lot of times we carry as many of the women's games as we can. Tomorrow we won't be able to, as we've got a full slate of games tomorrow, starting at 1:30 with Kevin, and I think Kevin Simpson's working with him again. I'm not 100% sure, but with Kevin Gerber on this station, 101.7 KDNO, as Thermopolis will face Kimmerer. Also at 1, and then boys at 3. At 1:30 as well will be Cody, and is it Gordon or is it Baylor?
Gordon.
It'll be Cody and Gordon on 991 KWYW as Wyoming Indian visits Rocky Mountain. At 2 o'clock on KFCW will be Ernie and Jerry Muchmore as Lander visits Lovell. Of course, Lander playing tonight at 5:30 and 7 at Worland, and Thermop playing tonight at home against Big Piney. And then the last game tomorrow, latest starting ones at 3 and 4:30, the Riverton Wolverines and Lady Wolverines make the trek 2 hours to our east to go face Kelly Walsh in Casper at the smallest crow's nest in the state. So lots of basketball tomorrow, lots of sports this weekend. Of course, all culminating on Sunday night. And if you're going out to a Super Bowl party, I'll tee you up here, Cody, for that. And there's going to be some maybe adult beverages provided. Have a ride. Don't
drink and drive. But you said the Super Bowl, so I'm saying it.
Well, see, we all said it once.
We are looking forward to the game, even though many people in this area would have rather seen a Denver-Seattle matchup. But it'll be interesting because, Mike Vrabel, the coach of the year, if you say that it's about Jimmy's and Joe's, all you got to do is look at the job that Mike Vrabel has done with the Patriots in his first year in New England. They went from last to first place. And they've got an improving quarterback. They've got an improving running game, but you still have to have the schemes. And I tip my hat to guys like Mark Lenhart from Riverton, came in here and rebuilt this program in 3 years. Coaching makes a difference. And anybody will give a tip of the hat to Mike Vrabel for the job he's done with the Patriots. And
to be fair,
they're a big underdog. They're a big underdog this weekend.
And to be fair, you got to give just the same hat tip to Mike McDonald.
You bet.
Of Seattle.
We don't even know anything about him, but
looks like he's 28. Oh, I do.
He's a heck of a coach.
I do, as he's a University of Georgia graduate.
I'm sure we're going to hear all about it now.
He's a University of Georgia graduate, but he looks like, I realize we're all getting older because Mike McDonald especially looks like he's 25. He's only, I think, 38. But he's brought back the defense that when Seattle was dominant, everybody thought Marshawn Lynch, but that defense, the Legion of Boom, he's brought that back. And again, they both shown that coaching matters so much because Drake May coming out, a lot of people thought, it was a reach to draft him as high as he went, and he's turned out to be a great quarterback. The talent was there. And Sam Darnold, of course, considered a bust before he got to Seattle, and now all of a sudden one of the better players.
Had a pretty good year last year in Minnesota too.
Yeah, but that started in Minnesota as well. But you look at these guys, the guys who left the Giants, who left the Jets, who left these teams that have been going through coaching changes left and right. Guess what? They're having success once they get in the right system. So system definitely matters, fit matters, and elite coaches generally do win. They attract the Jimmies and the Joes at any level, and you're seeing that whether it's with Lenhart at Riverton or all the way up into the pro ranks. But again, tomorrow at 1:30, Cody on KWYW. I'm on at 3 o'clock tomorrow. We've got games all day. We just don't have games at night, really. The last game will end about 6 o'clock, so that's a rarity for us to not have a night game on a Saturday. We want to thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. For Cody, Baylor, this has been Kevin Shields. We'll see you next time on KDNO 101.7.